Hey gang, I'm going to go ahead and introduce you to filters. You may have heard of filters in Photoshop, and filters are basically a way of translating your image. Um, so they're kind of a smart effect you can put on your image for the most part that translates what you see. So sometimes it'll look like a different medium, or you can distort it um, in a variety of ways. And what I like to do before I actually apply a filter is I like to convert my image, if it's not already a smart object, to a smart object by either saying filter, convert for smart filters, or layer, smart objects, convert to smart objects. So either of those, I'll just do it through the filter one. This allows Photoshop to remember your image in its original state, so you can always bring it back to that. Okay, now in the filters area, the drop-down menu, you have a variety of things you can look for. First, you'll see up top, if you already applied a filter before, it says last filter. So let's say I did some kind of stained glass filter. That filter, to the same degree that I did it, would appear up top. So the next time I go to use a filter, if I want to use the exact same thing again, I could just choose it right here. And you'll see there's a shortcut for that. Command F or Control F if you're on a PC. You can go into the actual categories of filters here, or you could use the filter gallery. Now note, the filter gallery does not always include all of the filters that are found down here. So we'll look this way because it's easier to see what this does to your image. Okay, and you'll see there's these broad categories. So if we look in the artistic one, I could make this look like colored pencil. Now, notice it's not using the colors in the picture, it's actually using the colors that are in my foreground and background right now. So if I get out of here, I'll see I have a black and white, so that's why it was mostly gray. If I change this to pink and green, watch how that changes. Filter, filter gallery, go back in artistic, let's choose colored pencil. So it's using my background color, it looks like. Using my background color for the colored pencil. And not all the filters use your foreground and background colors, but some do, you will notice. Okay. Now notice too, with each of these, you can also change filters just with this drop-down menu. And you can always change sort of to what degree the filters are applied, so you can really change how it looks, just depending on how you mess with these sliders. And I have a PDF that I included on your Laulima site right below this video that also kind of demonstrates a few of the filters. I'll go ahead and show you it in Acrobat. And we'll do a filter exercise at the end of this week. So it's kind of showing you the same dialog box I'm in right now. And it's showing you different examples of how these filters would translate the same image. And I'll just click through a few. You'll notice there's a few filters, like this one is clouds, and this one uses your foreground and background colors to make a clouds image, but it doesn't really look at the fact that this is an umbrella being used. So there's a few like that, but mostly they translate your image. And here's a few examples. Okay, so let's go back to Photoshop. So here's my image gallery. And you'll see, so this one's using my foreground color for neon glow. Say glow size. Kind of bring out glow color, and you can change the glow color here. And now it's using both my background and foreground colors. Paint daub, so this is more about adding a texture, like a painterly effect to your image. How sharp is it? So you can really change a lot about how your image looks by applying these. Brush strokes. And so you can preview it. If this zooms in on only part of the image, you can change that down here with how much are you looking at, or you could zoom in to part of it. And one other nice thing is you could apply a filter just to a selection. So if I had made a selection before I had gone into this filters area, it would apply only to an area. So I'll show you that in a minute too. Okay, so here's distort, and there's more options with distort if I'm not in the filter gallery. So it's like we're looking through stained glass. And again, I don't have to accept the kind of default settings. I can kind of work with it a little more. You know, they're named sort of appropriately. You know, a lot of them are named for a media that they're trying to make it look like this was colored in. Again, you can see it's using foreground background color sometimes when appropriate. You can change the type of paper sometimes. Like here's the texture filters. So in Texturizer, you could change what it looks like this is on. So now I have burlap. I can make the texture really big, where the light's coming from. The relief, so how much the texture sticks out from flat, right? So it'll change kind of the lighting of that. So there's a lot of things you can do. And you'll see this one again is using my foreground color for that sort of line between the stained glass. Okay, so let's cancel this for a second. And I'll show you that I could do this even just on a selection if I wanted to. So maybe I will feather this. I'll say 100 pixels. And I'll just draw a big oval on my daughter's face. Why we're doing this, I don't know. But anyway, I'll just show you to do part of it. Let's do a distort filter. And you'll see there's more options sometimes down below than are showing in the gallery. So we could say pinch, and I can either pinch in or load out. So you'll see there it sort of loaded the image out, and where it's feathered it looks kind of funny. But I can turn off and on this effect because I have smart filters on. It remembers where it was before. Now if I hadn't feathered it, let's try this again. We'll do a different one. Let's say distort, and let's try twirl. This will actually twirl her face. Right, but there you see the hard edge too. So you could do that. That might be more appropriate on an entire image. If I did that on the entire image, it has this sort of effect, right? So this kind of this and the history palette allow you to sort of get exactly what you're looking for. The smart filters allows you to turn it off, which is really great, especially if you don't like what you did. Okay, I'll do a video for your actual filters exercise, but go ahead and experiment with these. Check out the slideshow that I provided. Hopefully it gives you an idea for how to translate your image or parts of your image in order to make everything look cohesive in your work. You can make everything look sort of cartoony if you wanted, or you could just use these to emphasize part of the image. There's also a lot of really interesting ways of using filters you could look up just by doing a Google search.